Okay, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to remind you that the event today will be recorded to sessions or leave the platform should you wish to be not recorded. Thank you. Good afternoon, distinguished spokesperson, Dr. Nuki Agia Utama and Oliver Hope. Very good afternoon to ASEAN media representative attending today's press briefing. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We gather in this very special month celebrating the 54th anniversary of ASEAN this year to discuss two important things highlighting the ASEAN-Germany cooperations in energy sector. However, before we start the discussion, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Rizky Diastiana, GIZ Advisor for Communications and Public Relations. We'll be serving you as the host today together with Bapak Yuli Yulvianarsyah from Prefect Public Relations, who will moderate the later questions and answer sessions. I would like to also mention the objective of this press briefing briefly, which is to connect and create networks with media representatives across the ASEAN region, and also to inform media representatives about the long-standing cooperations between ASEAN and Germany in energy sector, especially through GIZ resilient cooperations with the ASEAN Centre for Energy. Last year, ASEAN Centre for Energy, or ACE, launched two flagship publications, namely, number one, the ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation, and also the ASEAN Energy Outlook, which is the region's documents containing the most updated energy information, analysis, and also projections. To discuss the two publications, we are very delighted today to have two honorable spokespersons, both from the ASEAN Centre for Energy and the German Embassy. Firstly, I would like to invite Dr. Nuki, who is the Executive Director of ACE. Dr. Nuki is also currently an advisory board member of Asia Pacific Energy Research Center, World Economic Forum, Global Future Councils, and the Energy Working Group of UNESCAP. He has an academic and research background as a postdoctorate in graduate school, Energy Science, Kyoto University, and PhD from Joint Graduate School of Energy and Environment, the University of Technology, King Mongkut, Thailand. Before assuming his position in ACE, he has been working in various international organizations and private sectors in energy and environmental issues. He also served as an invited lecturer at Diponegoro University and an editor in various international journals. Without further ado, I'd like to invite Dr. Nuki Agia Utama to share his remarks. Dr. Nuki, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Rizky. Good afternoon, colleagues from journalists. Good afternoon, colleagues from the German Embassy, colleagues from GIZ, from ACE, and also fellow colleagues from Southeast Asia and beyond Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all of you for being here with us today as a part of promoting these two essential reports of the ASEAN Energy Cooperations. On behalf of the ASEAN Centre for Energy, allow me to begin by welcoming you to these media hearings of the 6th ASEAN Energy Outlook, or we call it AO6, and also our blueprint energy activities among ASEAN member states. We call it the ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation, or APAEC, in 2025, phase 2. Before start, of course, I would like to thank for GIZ and our organizers for these extraordinary efforts in making this event possible. And indeed, I would like to thank for the Germany Embassy, especially Mr. Oliver Hope, for attending this session. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, last year on the 38th ASEAN Energy Minister Meeting on Energy, or we call it AMEM, November 2020, we have endorsed two flagship documents that play a crucial role in region's energy cooperation. The first document, we call it the APAEC phase 2, starting this year up until 2025. And the second important flagship document, we call it the 6th ASEAN Energy Outlook. The APAEC phase 2 builds on the success of the first APAEC 2016-2020 and sets out ambitious targets on initiative to enhance energy security and sustainability. These activities or these backbone energy activities also maintaining the same theme on the APAEC phase 1, which is enhancing energy connectivity and market integration in ASEAN to achieve energy security, accessibility, affordability, and sustainability for all. So these 4 keywords is very important: achieving energy security, accessibility, affordability, and sustainability for all ASEAN member states. And during that meeting, we also adding one sub-theme, which is accelerating energy transition and strengthening energy resilience through greater innovation and cooperation. So we are adding a quite important keywords, which is acceleration on energy transition, innovation and cooperation. So to achieve energy connectivity and market integration through energy security, accessibility, affordability, and sustainability for all, we need to accelerate the energy transition process with innovation and, of course, cooperation. So in the next 5 years, starting from this year, under APAEC phase 2, the ASEAN member state will expand regional multilateral electricity trading, strengthening the grid resilience and modernization, and of course, promoting clean and renewable energy integration. We have one important target on the APAEC phase 2, which is increasing the variable RE up to 35% in 2025. And also, we pursue the development of a standard gas market by enhancing gas and LNG connectivity and accessibility. Optimize the role of clean coal technology or CCT and carbon capture utilization and storage or CCUS towards sustainable and lower emission development. The member state also aims to achieve 32% energy intensity reduction aspirational target by 2025 based on 2005 levels. And we aim to achieve this aspirational target of 23% share of RE in the whole total primary energy supply. And as I mentioned previously, including the 35% share of VRE in the installed power capacity by the same year, 2025. We also plan to expand partnership with dialogue partners and also international organizations, advance energy policy and planning to accelerate the region energy transition and resilience, and also promoting regional initiative and enhance human resource capability on nuclear science and technology for power generation. So all of those main activities will be incorporated in the second phase of APAEC starting this year up until 2025. Moreover, as an essential report to support the implementation of APAEC, we also developed another flagship report or flagship program, we call it the ASEAN Energy Outlook 6, which is prepared by ASEAN Centre for Energy with the support from GIZ. Through the program, we call it the ASEAN German Energy Program. It is a close collaboration with experts and policymakers from all 10 ASEAN member states. And this report examines how the region can meet the energy needs of its growing economy and population from dates to 2040, and different ways forward and their implication for energy security, development, and also the environmental issues. So all of the activities is bounding in one big meeting that we have every year. We do have a regular meeting happening every year. And the ultimate meeting or high-level dialogue meeting, we call it is ASEAN Minister of Energy meetings. And this year will be conducted in Brunei Darussalam next September. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And I hope that all of us will be able to get valuable resource to develop collaborative partnerships to advance the ASEAN energy sectors through these events. Again, thank you very much. Stay safe and stay healthy. Back to you, Rizky.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nuki, for the very eye-opening remarks. I'm sure many colleagues, journalist representatives, have written down some interesting facts and questions about energy in ASEAN. Next, we are honored to have Mr. Oliver Hoppe, who is the Counselor for Development Cooperations of German Embassy. He is responsible for strategic and institutional coordinations of the ASEAN-German collaborations, as well as the bilateral cooperations between Indonesia and Germany. His focus area are environmental and climate protections and green urban infrastructures. Previously, Oliver has worked for the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperations and Developments, or BMZ, in the field of carbon neutrality. He earned a master's degree in East Asian study and has over 10 years of experience in consulting and project management in various sectors such as energy, automotive, banking, and public service. Without further ado, I'd like to invite Mr. Oliver Hoppe. The screen is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ivo Rizky. Good afternoon, dear Dr. Nuki from the ASEAN Energy Centre. Good afternoon, dear representatives from the various media outlets in the region, dear colleagues of the ACE, and dear colleagues from GIZ, dear ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I'm happy to share our view we have on the energy sector of the ASEAN region and the ASEAN member states here from a German perspective. As you look at the ASEAN region today, you see 10 countries, which are home of over 640 million people and have a combined GDP of $7 trillion US. That is already impressive. But if you see the projections for the future, by 2040, by the year of 2040, the population will grow close to 770 million people, and the combined GDP will nearly triple to $20 trillion US. Looking at these figures, it becomes clear that the region will further develop in its role as one of the major global growth drivers, as well as a global economic powerhouse. This means for the ASEAN member states that their economies will advance in the industrialization, and also that for its people, it means that they will become more and more wealthy. And on the other hand, that means that the energy demand in this region will increase significantly. As the ASEAN Energy Outlook states, by the year of 2040, the energy demand will be more than double as what we see today. So the important question is here, how will this huge demand be met? With fossil fuels-based technology or renewable energy? The answer to this question will have an impact of the quality of life in the region, as well as on the greenhouse gas emissions and the climate change on the global level. And it will finally be important in our fight against global warming. Therefore, it is important for the ASEAN member states to shape an energy landscape in its region today that secures affordable, accessible, and at the same time, sustainable energy supply in the future. For Germany, it's one of the major priorities to support ASEAN and its member states in its commitment towards sustainable energy. ASEAN and Germany have a long-standing partnership in the field of energy through the ASEAN Centre for Energy. With the ASEAN-German Energy Program, we have been showing strong support for over 14 years with a total financial support of almost 14 million euro until today. Part of the collaborative partnership with the ASEAN Centre for Energy is the development of the ASEAN Energy Outlook since the 4th edition in 2015, then the 5th edition in 2017, and the latest, the 6th edition, which was just published end of 2020. The ASEAN Energy Outlook is an important publication and reflects the relevance of the ASEAN Centre for Energy as a regional center of excellence for sustainable energy. We are proud to see that the ASEAN Energy Outlook serves as the region's main official source of energy information, analysis, and projections. And with that, our partner, the ASEAN Centre for Energy, helps to build a coherent, coordinated, focused, and robust energy policy agenda and strategy for the ASEAN region. Again, we highly appreciate the strong partnership between ASEAN member states, the ASEAN institutions, and the ASEAN Centre for Energy with Germany. And we are looking forward to travel together towards a sustainable energy landscape in the ASEAN and in the EU region. Congratulations to the ASEAN Centre for Energy, the ASEAN member states, for the successful launch of the ASEAN Energy Outlook in the 6th editions and the phase 2 of the ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation. We are eager to see how the plan is implemented, and we are looking forward to see the next version of the ASEAN Energy Outlook, as well as to continuing the cooperation with our dear partners. Thank you very much, and look forward to our discussion today.
Thank you, Oliver, for your sharp remarks. I think it's interesting to hear about Germany priorities in energy transition over the years from you. Next session will be introductions of media representative and also the questions and answer sessions. I would like to hand over the screen to my colleague, Pak Yuli Ulfinarsyah. The screen is yours.
Thank you, Rizky. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, representative from the media. I would like to introduce you one by one to the speaker. And as you know, first we have Hermawan Wawan. I don't know from which media, Hermawan Wawan. And then we have Agus Taman from Halo Business News. And then Jayanti Nada Sofa from Jakarta Globe. And then from Antara, the news agency, Katriana, yeah, represented by Katriana. And then Rehia Sebayang from IDN Times. And next, we have Betsik Kandi Arazi from WE, yeah, what is it? And then Mr. Urara Ito from NHK, NHK, yeah. Then we have Hasanuddin for LPP RRI. And Pak Rahman Aldo from Indopost. Then we have Helmi from neracabusiness.com. We have, Pak Nick Wardi, I don't know. And then Pak Karyoto from Executive. Okay, and then, well, it's Rahman, tadi sudah. Oh, Yohana Artauli from Kompas.com. And then, well, if I miss something, Helmi sudah ya dari Neraca ya, Agus Priyatna, and then Muhammad Guntur Setiawan. So I couldn't see the media, but the wheels. I hope I have already mentioned all. Ahmad Ali, and then Tata. Please, all the media representative, please fill in the attendance list so we can register you in this attendance. And don't forget we have already sent you the media kit, including the press release and the fact sheet and other information materials in your emails. And what else did I? Yeah, yes. If you can see the chat box, you see the narrative there about the media attendance and the press release. So, okay. So once again, we would like to, but before we commence the Q&A session, we would like to ask all the journalists to open the visual, yeah, the video, not the audio, for the photo session. So please, all journalists, open the video. So the admin, Johnson, please allow access to all media to open the video for photo session.
It's open, Pak Jul.
Sorry?
Sudah dibuka.
Okay, it's already open. It's only for 1 minute, yeah. Kindly open the video. Agus Priyatna, Muhammad Guntur, and Tata, Ahmad Ali, and this is the way that we do Zoom online press conference. So press conference. And then Johanna Artauli from Kompas.com. Would you please open for a moment? Tata. Ruth Semiono. Okay. Okay. John, ready for a screenshot? Yeah, thank you, Pak Agus Taman.
Okay, let's begin in 3, 2, 1.
Mungkin 2 kali.
Smile. Okay, once again.
Once again bagian
3, 2, 1, smile. Okay.
Sudah. Satu lagi udah? Udah, John? Okay.
Sudah.
Thank you. Thank you, media colleagues, for this photo session. And thank you once again for your attendance in your busy time to join this press briefing for this ASEAN, GIZ, and ACE event. Yeah. So first question, I would like to give the opportunity from the journalists. Any journalist can raise your hand. So we have 2 ways. Ya, kita punya 2 mode. Satu mode raise hand through this application, the Zoom, and the other you can write down your question through the chat box. Yeah. So, but we prefer the ones who raise hands and then ask directly to the speaker. Okay. I give the opportunity first. ASEAN Centre for Energy. Nick Wardi. Ya? Nick Wardi from the media. John, please buka video from Nick Wardi. Nick Wardi, John.
Ya, selamat siang Pak Yuli.
Ya, selamat siang Pak Nick Wardi. You can ask in bahasa or in Indonesia, Pak.
Ya, saya pakai bahasa aja Pak ya.
Ya, silakan.
Jadi tolong diterjemahin ke bahasa Inggris.
Ya.
Jadi bagaimana dengan kondisi bisnis pertambangan terutama di ASEAN di saat pandemi sekarang ini kan? Jadi untuk ekspor aja kita sudah berkurang daripada tahun sebelumnya, sebelum pandemi yang melanda lah seluruh dunia. Kemudian bisnis pertambangan, terutama untuk Indonesia sendiri, apakah masih cukup menjanjikan untuk kedepannya bagi perekonomian Indonesia dan umumnya di ASEAN? Terima kasih Pak Yuli.
Okay. So if I may translate, the question can be addressed to both of you, Pak Oliver Hope or Pak Nuki Agia Utama. So first question is, sorry, unmute please. Johnson, unmute. Pak Nick Wardi. Unmute all, John. Okay. So the first question is, he asked, how is the mining business in the ASEAN countries, yeah, especially in this pandemic times? And the second, is it also promising for Indonesia in this mining business? That is the question. Please, Pak Oliver or Pak Nuki, I think, yeah. Pak Nuki, I think, will be appropriate to answer this. Silakan, Pak Nuki.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mas Nick Wardi. Should I explain in English? Is it okay? Or bahasa?
In English, Pak. So
okay.
We have most of our journalists are English media.
Yeah. Thank you again, Pak Nick Wardi and Pak Yuli. the mining industry in Southeast Asia. The energy sectors, part of these activities indeed related with the minings, especially if we're talking about the fossil fuel. We have oil, we have gas, and of course we have coal. Since 2005, Southeast Asia is already becoming the net importers of oil. We still have gas and coal at the moment. But according to our study from the ASEAN Energy Outlook, if later on you can look through in our website, or maybe Pak Yuli and Pak Rizky can send the links on this report. It is projected that Southeast Asia will be the net importers of gas as well as coal. So basically in 2040, we're going to be the net importers of all fossil fuel energy, primary energy supply. Talking about those primary energy supply related with the minings, at the moment is still promising. Looking at the COVID-19 and the reduction of the energy demand, of course, it is impacting quite hard the energy sectors starting last year. However, if you looking at in our data and Southeast Asia data, the energy demand is steadily increased in the Q1 this year, starting of course from the Q4 last year, and Q1 is looking better. Meaning that the demand of energy is getting or gaining momentum and getting that phase that it will recover very soon. So in short, I'm still convinced that the energy, especially on the mining related energy sectors, is still promising up until at least 2040. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Nuki. So yeah, the question is a bit not so specific about the energy, but we have mining that has relation to the energy. There is like a coal, yeah, and then the second question I would choose from the chat box. The question from Jakarta Globe, Jayanti Nada Sofa. What were the lessons learned or issues encountered during the first phase of APAEC? What are your plans to prevent similar issues from happening in the second phase? So this is, I think Jayanti is quite familiar with the sector and the issue. Is it clear, Pak Oliver or Pak Nuki? I think it's still Pak Nuki,
yeah. We have 2016-2020 APAEC phase 1. The thing that we are facing over there is one is the lack of the involvement on the industrial sectors, and we still haven't captured the transportation sector as well. So in the APAEC phase 2, if you're looking at the program area that we developed, we're starting to capture those sectors as well. So industrial sectors responsible quite a lot in the energy, primary energy, final energy consumption, as well as transportation sectors. So those two sectors being captured quite well in the second phase, hopefully. Not to mention also the residential sectors. We do have a lot of activities in phase 1, which is continuing also doing in the phase 2, including the energy efficiency strategies, the energy efficiency on the energy manager certification. And also we do have planning on other certification related with the RE. All of those challenges in APAEC phase 1, 2016-2020 has been analyzed and also, of course, captured, and we try to translate it to the better activities in the APAEC phase 2, which is some of those are the things that I just mentioned. And another thing that perhaps a bit different from APAEC phase 1 is the increasing of the activities on having a cleaner technology on the supply side. So we've done a lot on the energy efficiency, which is it is quite make us happy that we achieve energy intensity target 20% in last year 2020. So that's why we try to increase the energy intensity up to 30% in 2025. So in supply side, we try to having more cooperation and innovation. And that's also the reason why we put our sub-team on the increasing cooperation and innovation for the all energy sectors, particularly in the supply side, but also of course in the demand side as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Nuki. So the next question, I think this is best answered by Pak Oliver Hoppe. So the question from Hasanuddin from RRI, yeah. How do you see electric vehicles business in the region? I mean, the ASEAN and also Indonesia. Does it contribute to reducing greenhouse effect or gas emission?
Yeah, I think electric vehicles are one of the key technologies on a global scale, but also, of course, for the ASEAN region to transform transportation towards an emission-reduced environment. Of course, there are some preconditions that need to be met. We see that in Germany as well. It is, of course, necessary that the electricity that comes to serve the electric vehicles is best when it comes from renewable energies. So while we expand the infrastructure and as well as the supply side of the electrified transportation, we also need to make sure that the share of renewable energies is growing in the national portfolios in the energy sector. Also, it is of course necessary to provide a suitable grid as well as enough charging station like the infrastructure. So, but I think the ASEAN region has everything which is needed in order to go down that road. So I think we are allowed to be optimistic about electric vehicle business in the region. And yeah, and if it's implemented properly, it will definitely drive down the greenhouse gas emissions of the region.
Thank you, Pak Oliver Hoppe. Maybe Pak Nuki would like to add some information on that question. Please, Pak Nuki.
Can you repeat the question again on the EV?
So the question, yeah, on the EV. Let me read it out first. How do you see electric vehicles business in the region, in ASEAN and Indonesia? How does it contribute to reducing greenhouse effect or greenhouse gas emissions? Sorry. Okay.
If we're looking at the business perspective or the future of the EV, Southeast Asia having more than 650 million people, and indeed it's a big market. And if you know that in the next coming of decades, Southeast Asia will be having a quite good economic growth. And looking at the EV as one of the solution on achieving on the reduction of the greenhouse gases, I think it is somehow it is possible to achieve with the condition that the power sectors can be or trying to move from the current technology to be cleaner. Realizing that in the so in the study that we have, 2040 we still dominated by the fossil fuel. However, the domination of the fossil fuel really being corrected by the increase of the energy efficiency performance, and also the penetration of the RE in the TPS and VRE. So that's what we projecting. And the each member states also already try to dismiss so-called the subcritical coal power plant. I think this one is very good initiative and a very good a move by the 10 member states to go forward on a cleaner supply of energy. So if we really becoming one of the major transportation in the region, I think it's easier to swift the centralized power sectors rather than to change each individual cars into cleaner one. However, those are requiring a lot of investment. And on the power sector itself, it is predicted that we need around 300 billion US dollars investment on the power sectors to move in the energy transition perspective, to move from the current power sector's energy mix towards a cleaner one. So those are a big homeworks in our in the government perspective, and that's why this ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation really requiring these two additional sub-team, which is the innovation and cooperation. So we cannot do it alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Nuki, and thank you, Pak Oliver. So I hope it's quite clear, yeah, Pak Hasanuddin. So if you have further question or need some more explanation, we have what do you call it, doorstop online session after this. So after the formal press conference, we will also still available for you to answer questions from maybe Pak Oliver or from the other from ACE and GIZ. And the third question, I would like to pick the one from, he sent me the text, Pak Agustaman. Yeah, Pak Agustaman from Hello News. Okay, Pak Agustaman. Please pin Pak Agustaman, admin. Video of Agustaman. So you would like to ask directly ya, in bahasa. Okay, please.
Oke. Sudah, terima kasih Pak Ijul. Mungkin pertanyaan saya lebih cocok ke Pak Oliver ya. Kalau nggak salah sejak 2008, pemerintah Jerman itu sudah menjalin kerjasama dengan ASEAN Centre for Energy dan banyak melakukan proyek kerja juga di regional ASEAN. Nah, pertanyaan saya, apa sih yang membuat pemerintah Jerman tertarik untuk bekerja sama dengan ASEAN Centre for Energy dan kenapa juga tertarik berinvestasi di energy transition selama puluhan tahun di wilayah ASEAN? Begitu, terima kasih Pak Ijul.
Okay, thank you. Terima kasih Pak Agustaman. So if I may translate it a bit. So this question is addressed to Pak Oliver Hoppe from the German Embassy. So since 2008, German has cooperated, has a cooperation with ACE, yeah, ASEAN Central Energy, and ASEAN. What is actually the interest of German Embassy in doing this? And sorry, Pak Agus, the second question, what is? Yeah, Agus, Pak Agus, tolong. Unmute, John. Pak Agus tadi, sorry, I miss. Unmute.
Oke. Ya, pertanyaan kedua, apa alasan pemerintahan Jerman?
Oh, alasan.
Ya, alasan bekerja sama sekian puluhan tahun dengan ASEAN Centre for Energy dan menanam investasi di kawasan ini
Oh,
juga.
investasi.
Yeah.
Investasi di, okay. So the second thing is about
transition, yeah.
Energy transition. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So the second question is actually related with the first one. So the why German is interested in in the investing in the energy transition in ASEAN region. Is it clear, Pak Oliver Hope?
Yeah, thank you. It's clear.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your question. I think for Germany, it's energy transition towards sustainable energy through renewable energy is a priority because it's on a national scale. For Germany itself, Germany is engaged a long time to get this transition done by itself. And it's also a priority for the bilateral and regional cooperation with our partner countries, because we believe that the energy landscape throughout the world needs to change in order to be able to sustain our living and to fight climate change. Since we believe that collaboration in this field is key to success, we are proud that we found ACE in ACE a reliable and competent partner, which is in the region, I think, well mandated by the ASEAN member states, and plays a strategic role as a regional knowledge center, and therefore can be a catalyst and think tank. So that it's basically, I think, the reason why we are so invested in the ACE, especially, and why we are interested in the energy transition in the region.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Oliver Hope. Pak Nuki, anything you would like to add for that question?
Okay, I think all of the DPs or direct partners are welcome to work with us, since, as I mentioned previously, that we cannot do it alone on increasing the exposure on the alternative energy, on the energy transition that we are going to do in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Thank you, Pak Nuki. So next is the question from Kompas. Pak Danur from Kompas. He is following our press conference via YouTube, and this is the question. If you can see directly, Pak Nuki, in Bahasa. The question number one is it? Sorry, there is a unmute, please, John. Is it necessary or needed for the ASEAN community to set target on climate change in the sector of renewable energy in the future, considering that G7 is starting this year to stop the developing the plan of coal mining, the coal industry, and then if there is a coal investor from G7 which entering the ASEAN community, how these member states face this initiative? And the second question is it needed for the ASEAN member state to have this common roadmap to decide on this energy policy in its country, considering that most of the member states are still in the are those who are in the Paris Agreement members, are following the Paris Agreement ratification. Is it clear, Pak Oliver Hope, on Pak Nuki? The first question is about how if the investor of mining industry still entering the ASEAN countries, while the G7 actually already starting to stop the investor from this coal mining.
To whom would you direct the question?
Anyone can answer that? Maybe Pak Nuki first, yeah, because it's quite. Pak Nuki, unmute John. Pak Nuki, unmute, yeah. Yeah, please, Pak Nuki. Oh no, okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, udah, okay.
Thank you very much, Pak Danur, for the nice question. I think everybody are looking forward on this question. Basically, ASEAN member state is consisting of 10 member states. They do have their own energy strategy and also a climate perspective on how they will achieve their own target. Looking at the whether ASEAN setting up a climate change target, especially on the ambitious target on the renewable energy and so on. So in our perspective, in the energy sector perspective, the target on the renewable and increasing the renewable energy and VRE in the power generation is already there. It is an aspirational target, which is agreed by 10 member states in every meeting, and every year I think is increasing. And all of the result on achievement from each member state are very, very good. That's why this communication is keep doing, and we exchange the knowledge, we exchange the strategy, we exchange how the policy can be executed very well, and so on achieving such EPP or such RE target. So back on the regional or community target on GHG emission reduction, the mandate of the energy sectors in ASEAN is to achieve energy security, accessibility, affordability, and sustainability for all. So basically, we don't have any one set of target on achieving GHG emission reduction, for example. But through the energy cooperation, which is energy is responsible between 70 to 80% on the emission from the human activities, yeah, not the natural perspective, but from the energy from the human activities. Yes, energy responsible up to 80% from the whole emission in the region, if we're looking at the region perspective. So we concern on how to reducing the environmental impact, including, of course, the carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. And of course, also methane and sulfur dioxide, sulfur oxide, and so on. So we really try to reduce those environmental impact by introducing more technology, introducing advanced technology, increasing the cooperation amongst member states and also beyond member states in order to capturing the best technology worldwide and implementing it in the region. Yeah. And to make sure the energy is secure enough, accessible enough, affordable enough, and sustainable enough. So currently in energy sector, we haven't talked about this setting up a target in terms of the climate change. Looking at the coal investment, which is G7 already stopped the investment on the coal. Yes, it is really impacting the energy businesses, especially if we talk about the supply side on the power generation and also in the industrial sector who using coal. However, those are something that we have to face. And in ASEAN perspective is also try to move from the, we call it the inefficient coal power plant or inefficient coal thermal in the industrial sector, for example, towards more a cleaner technology. So in South Asia, we agree on implementing, we call it the clean coal technology. One of the important technology on the making the coal cleaner is the ultra supercritical. This morning we have a meeting regarding the update on the cleaner coal technology in the power sectors. And the trend is increasing. So most of the member states already aware of it, and they try really to implement the ultra supercritical and dismiss the subcritical power plant. For example, Indonesia already agreed on stopping or dismissing all of the subcritical, and try to increase the penetration of supercritical up until ultra supercritical. In Japan, the ultra supercritical proven very well when G-Power, one of the power company in Japan, putting one coal power plant by the ultra supercritical technology inside or within the city of Yokohama. Yokohama city having very strict emission regulation. And this company dare to put this ultra supercritical within the city, meaning that the technology is there. So reducing emission, saving the environment is important, but we have to really considering affordability for all, accessibility for all, by approaching the sustainability strategies to make sure the energy security is there. And I think it's also answering this question number 2, whether we need to have a roadmap on achieving the Paris Agreement target. Again, the NDC is a binding in each member state, not a regional binding agreement. So it's depending on each member states, whether they want to have a regional agreement or not. But currently, this NDC is binding within each member state. Thank you, Pak Danut, for the question. Back to you,
Thank you, Pak Nuki. So, because the question is quite specific on the ASEAN, so Pak Oliver, would you like to add information on that, or we go to the next question?
Yeah, I think Pak Nuki covered that already very comprehensively.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think this is the last question because we have to conclude our event at 3. So the last question is from Rakyat Merdeka. Where is it? Ahmad Ali from Rakyat Merdeka. In the future, what is it like for ASEAN member states to gradually shifting from the coal mine industry to the renewable energy? So this is quite a simple question about the future. Yeah. I think, yeah, Pak Oliver can answer that if you want.
Can you please repeat the question? I was looking at the chat if I could find it.
Yeah, this is in Bahasa from Ahmad Ali. So in the future, what is it like for member state? I mean, the scene in a member state to gradually shifting from the coal mine to the renewable energy, to other renewable energy. So how do you see the prospect of ASEAN member state for shifting, to shift from this coal mine to the renewable energy in the future?
Yeah, I think there's a good opportunity here and a good momentum, especially if you see what happened during the pandemic. The shift towards a greater awareness about our consumption habits on the demand side, and also about other demand patterns for the supply side. And I think going forward, you will see that coal firing plants and coal mining that will be actually more costly than the future investment into renewable energies, because like mining coal will not get cheaper in the future, and you would have then like an investment in stranded assets, and you would need to subsidize the coal to make it competitive against the evolving share of renewable energies. So I think if the ASEAN member states and the ASEAN itself could take that into consideration, and your action plan has taken it into considerations, I think going forward with that plan is good and will lead to a phasing out of the coal industry to a more sustainable energy.
Yeah, thank you, Oliver. But please hold there, because I have another question, important question. This is the last one, I promise. So this is from NHK, NHK Japan, from Urara NHK. He asks, he or she, I don't know, how can Germany adopt your own experience for supporting to accelerate decarbonization in ASEAN countries? So, yeah, is it clear?
So that means like what can we what can ASEAN learn from our experiences in Germany? Right. Yeah, well, I think the transition in Germany is on its way. There were some difficulties in the beginning. I think one key factor is really that the private sector needs to be mobilized. So that would mean that you need a fair pricing mechanism and a stable regulatory framework to expand the renewable sector. Both of which would need to send the right signals to the supply and the demand side. So that is one important factor. Also, what worked in Germany as well, especially regarding the heavy emission industry, is the carbon trading scheme that had to generate pressure on the private sector as well to become more emission efficient. We also had, I think, good experiences with energy consulting towards companies to save energy. That is also something, we would definitely be willing to share where we would be willing to share our experience. What also worked well in Germany is the expansion of wind and solar, where we have here in the region, I think, really good conditions. So I think that is also something the ASEAN region could pick up from or learn from our experiences. But I think, it's a both way road. We all need to go in that direction and learn from each other. That's why I think that's it's also a good opportunity here. Yeah,
thank you, Oliver. So I think this is the we have concluded the event. I mean, the question and answer session. So, but before that, I would give the last opportunity for Pak Nuki and Pak Oliver to give closing remarks for 1 minute. It's start from Pak Nuki, please. Masih mute, Pak. Unmute, please. Unmute.
Okay.
Udah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mas Juli. I think today is very good opportunities for ASEAN to reveal the activities on energy sectors that the member states are really concerned on those securing the energy supply to all of the member states, to make sure that the energy supply having access to all of the people in the member states. Also, of course, the energy should be affordable and again sustainable enough. So the member state already did a lot of things regionally and also beyond region to work together to make sure those mandates is being delivered very well. And one of the activities is working close together with German, which is already being a long time. One of the longest cooperation is between us and Germany. I think we've done a lot of things in these activities. We've learned a lot from Germany, and one of the success story from the energy transition is coming from German. that's something that we really looking forward later on can be implemented in the Southeast Asia. So really looking forward on the activities, further activities between Germany and Southeast Asia on implementing this energy transition in the good or correct pathway. Thank you, Pak Gino.
Thank you, Pak Nuki. Pak Oliver, please.
Yeah, I would like to echo that, what Panuki said about the cooperation between Germany and ASEAN. I think, yeah, the fact that it is already like 14 years we are working together on this speaks for itself. Yeah, we're really looking forward to continue that collaboration. And I think that for the ASEAN region, it's despite the challenging targets, and also, yeah, in the light of the pandemic and the economic insecurity at the moment, I think there's so much potential here, where especially for renewable energy that is untapped in solar and wind, and that really would help if that could be unleashed to accelerate the development towards these targets. And of course, ASEAN is a strategic community with strong support from its network of dialogue and development partners. Where we are one of them, which we are very proud of. So yeah, thank you for this really interesting publication, the ASEAN Energy Outlook, and I'm really looking forward to the next version where we will see how the targets or the road through the targets has been traveled by the ASEAN region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Oliver Hoppe. So if I may, I took a notes a bit. So what are some takeaways from the answer from this respectable speakers? That first, that the future of electric vehicles, that is, the ASEAN is a big market, yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, Pak Nuki mentioned we have ASEAN member states have more than 600 million populations, and we have ASEAN has a good economic growth as well. And the second is the electric vehicles are a good solution to reduce the greenhouse emission. And third is about the Germany's cooperation with the ACE. Yeah, Germany is committed to sustaining their living, yeah, and our living, and fight the climate change. ACE is also very reliable and competent in energy sector, said Mr. Oliver Hope. Yeah. And then private sector needs to be regulated to expand the renewable energy. There is a few takeaways that I take note. Yeah. So once again, this is the end of our press conference, but we still have the after party or doorstop session. In meantime, thank you for the speaker, respectable Mr. Oliver Hope, yeah, from German Embassy, and then Dr. Nuki Agia Utama from Asia. And this is also thank you for journalists who attend here. We hope to see you again in the other topics soon. Thank you very much. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bye-bye. Now, but you may leave Pa Oliver Hope or Pa Nuki if you want, but if you still want to stay, we still receive a question from journalists who are still want to ask question. Any question from the journalists now? Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Mbak Jayanti, mungkin still has more question. Wahyu Aristia, bisa langsung dengan
halo.
Sorry ya, sorry dari mana?
Dari Jakarta Globe, Jayanti.
Jayanti, oke. Okay. Tolong John dipin Mbak Jayanti. Jakarta Globe, Jayanti would like to ask question to siapa Mbak? Johnson, tolong pin John.
Pak Agia.
Pak Nuki, oke, okay, silakan.
Iya.
John pin Jayanti.
Pak, saya ingin tanya, menurut pendapat Pak Agya, kira-kira bagaimana pemerintah Indonesia, apakah sudah menunjukkan komitmennya terkait renewable energy ini? Terima kasih. Atau maksudnya apakah mereka sudah on the right track menuju renewable energy? Terima kasih.
Should I answer in bahasa or English? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. In English, yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Jayanti, for the question. If we talk about Indonesia, I think they did a lot of planning, and they already talk on how to increase the RE and VRE in the country. The upcoming RUPTL, I believe it will be showing a totally different plan in comparison with the last RUPTL. The government of Indonesia tried to increase, try to stop most of the fossil fuel-based generators in the smaller islands in eastern part of Indonesia. And also the government of Indonesia tried to increase the potential share coming from the solar PV. And they also plan, I believe, so they are very interested on having an interconnection with the ASEAN through the ASEAN Power Grid interconnection that we currently we have. So when it's being connected, of course, the increases of VRE will be one of the important measures. And I think government of Indonesia will comply to do so. Other thing that looking at in the government's perspective, the research and development is being really in the good phase. We have also activities on the government of Indonesia have activities on the CCUS, for example, to reducing the carbon emission. And also they have activities on increasing the emission from the coal by having the Center of Excellence, by hosting the Center of Excellence of Clean Coal Technology, or COE-CCT, which I think being discussed this morning. Those are the activities on how the government tried to move forward on the cleaner energy supply. That's what I think. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? Just lagi, ya. Siapa? Mbak Reha Sebayang mau tanya? Pak Patrick Kindi Arazi, WE ini media apa ya? Oke. John, idenya apa nih?
Warta ekonomi mungkin Pak.
Oh, warta ekonomi, sorry ya. Warta ekonomi. Pak Patrick atau Pak Patrick Kindi Arazi? Laki-laki ya. Mungkin bisa di-unmute, John, semua? Atau mungkin nanti nggak ada ya? Ada lagi? Ini siapa yang bicara?
Nada, Jayanti Nada.
Nada?
Dari Jakarta Globe.
Oh, masih yang tadi, Jayanti Nada. Ya, masih ada yang pertanyaan belum puas ya?
So the APAEC Phase 2 has around like 7 program areas. Out of those 7 program areas, which one is the most doable? Which one shows the best progress? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Jayanti again. 7 program areas, all of those are important. We're focusing not only one, because if we're looking at the energy spectrum, we have to really put it in the perspective that treated them fairly, both at the moment, both fossil fuel as well as the non-fossil fuel. Because the mandate that we have is to make sure the energy is affordable enough, sustainable enough, accessible enough, and of course, secure enough. Meaning that all 7 program area is important. And however, looking at the progress that we have and the main activities we have at the moment in Southeast Asia, it is focusing, leaning towards the cleaner energy activities. mostly the RE, VRE, of course, in the power generation, energy efficiency on the industrial sectors, power sectors, as well as the residential sectors. And those are the activities that currently we have a lot. And some of the activities on the fossil fuel part, we still keep doing that, but most of them are towards the cleaner activities, for example, like as I mentioned previously, clean coal technology.
Okay, thank you, Pak Nuki. Anything else? Any other question? I think goes 1, goes 3. Nothing. Okay. Okay, I think this is a wrap, everybody. So once again, thank you for coming, for joining this press briefing. Yeah. Thank you, Nadayanti, and thank you, Pak Oliver Hope, and thank you, Pak Dr. Nuki Agia Utama, for being this great speakers today. Yeah. And hope to see you again in the next press conference. Yeah. Probably with different topics. Thank you again. Selamat siang. Salam.
Thank you.
Selamat
Thank you.
siang.
Bye.
Terima kasih. Bye.
Terima kasih, Pak.
Thank you, Oliver. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Have a nice
too.
day to you, Pak.
Yeah, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.